Hello and welcome to another episode of the Investor Financing Podcast. I'm your host, Beau. Today we have a great guest. We're going to be talking about automation for your property, the properties that you own, right? That's a big thing. We get one or two rental properties. Now we're overwhelmed. We have to do bookkeeping. We have to do rent collection. We have to do banking. We have to do all this stuff. So today we're going to do a deep dive on a new platform that I think is going to be amazing for people listening and watching this later on, because it's really going to be kind of a one-stop shop. I hate to say that phrase, but really you can get everything done, manage everything. And for somebody like myself, that's where I really have a bottleneck in my investing business. I get a couple of these deals and it's like, okay, I got to make sure I'm getting my rents in. I'm checking that my tenants are paying. I have no place to kind of benchmark and do analytics. And I think this is the problem that you're solving. Please welcome Mathias, from CEO and co-founder of Baselane. So happy to have you here. I know we're going to talk about some amazing things. Before we went live, we're kind of going over the overview of your platform. Basically, it's their platform has loans, property insurance, tenant screening, legal services, landlord banking, bookkeeping, rent collections, analytics. And really, they have a lot planned as they build out the system a little bit more. But welcome to the show. Really honored to have you here and excited to kind of dive in today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. Excited to share with you and with your community kind of what we've been building at Baselane. We have a pretty ambitious vision to really change the way that this large investor community manages the finances for the rental properties. And our goal is really to kind of start automating and providing a lot of support to have an end-to-end platform to manage all of the finances for your investment property, whether it's around banking, rent collection, insurance, being able to assess the performance of your property in real time, being able to have a very easy way to do bookkeeping, keep it very automated, really making tax time a breeze. And of course, there's insurance and lending and a bunch of other products that we're looking to kind of build up partnerships with to really offer kind of a cohesive solution and be a leader in this space.
That's great. So let's walk through. I just recently bought a fourplex. I bought a fourplex in Pennsylvania. I live on the West Coast, but found a good opportunity there. And so obviously I am actually self-managing this property. So I have to do rent collections. And I was going through and figuring out, okay, how can I manage this? What are the best tools? So I come to your platform and I enter in the data of my fourplex, the address, the tenants. And then I can do I send them a link and they can pay by either credit card or ACH? How does that all work initially on the platform?
Yeah, that's a great question. And maybe even taking a step back, you probably purchased this property on an LLC. You may have to open a new bank account for it. Many times opening a bank account is a tedious process. A lot of banks have minimum balance fees or a lot of hidden fees. You can come and open a bank account as an individual, as an LLC, as a corporation, as a partnership, as trust. Immediately within a minute on our platform. You can also kind of interconnect your existing bank accounts. You have that. And then, you come onto your platform, you add your property. It takes less than a minute to set up rent collection. Once you set up the parameters of rent collection, your tenant's going to receive an invite. They have a fantastic platform that's on mobile, that's on desktop. They can pay rent through credit card, debit card, ACH. That's free for you. There's a small convenience fee if they are paying by card. And then the tenant has a beautiful experience to go manage the way they pay rent. They can automate it through auto pay, or they can actually go and schedule each payment individually. You're going to receive notifications. You'll be able to kind of manage and edit those invoices. You can set up late fees. At the same time, we have a fantastic bookkeeping tool that's interconnected directly into the bank account that you open with us or with any external bank account that you connect onto our platform. Any transaction that comes in, we're starting to actually automate a lot of that bookkeeping across kind of Schedule E, really making tax time extremely efficient. You can go and add as many properties as you want onto our platform. And from there, we have an automated tool that actually starts to give you very clear insights into how you're performing from a cash flow perspective. You can go and actually look at specific expense categories, deep dive into those expense categories across time, see any kind of anomalies in terms of increasing costs. And really start to have a full picture of your finances. And our banking platform has been built specifically in mind, with the landlord and investor community. You can open a bank account, you can open a series of sub accounts with a click of a button. Each of those sub accounts is a segregated account So if you have those 4 doors in that property, you can actually open a sub account by door, so you can actually start to visualize, finally a view of net operating income by door. You can have a specific account for security deposits. All of that is free, and then at the same time on the card platform, you can open up obviously debit cards, but then virtual cards that can be attached to specific properties, so you can start to automate all that expenses. Really wanted to make a lot of things very, very streamlined, for our customers.
Can you explain the virtual cards a little bit? Is that just like a virtual credit card, and you can pay your vendors through that virtual card?
Very much so. It's not a credit card, but it's a debit card. You get 1% cash back on the debit card, but essentially it's a debit card, but there's no physical card. So you're going to be able to see the debit card number, the expiration date, the CVV directly on the platform. When you open it, you literally click up a button, you authenticate as you, and then that debit card appears virtually on the platform. You can then say, I want every transaction that comes onto that specific virtual wallet to be attached to a property, and even if you wanted to, you could have it be attached to a specific expense category, let's say advertising. So anytime you're going to go and use that card, automatically it's already plugged in and linked directly into the right category on our bookkeeping tool, and also to the right property. You can have controls. So if you want to say, I only want to be able to spend X amount on that virtual card, you can do that. And obviously you can open as many virtual cards as you want.
That's amazing, because that's part of my problem as I grow my portfolio. It's like, I go see my tax professional and it's like, I don't have any of it automated. And I know a lot of people watching, like, this is a game changer, because I know with me, it's like every tax season, I regret it. I like putting things together, getting all my credit cards. This is one platform that I could just have multiple. And at some point, you'll probably be able to integrate credit cards in there too, so you can link everything. So it's all there and done for you. Now, going back, when I set up the tenant, if they pay on ACH, do they get a fee, or is it only if they pay with credit card?
ACH is completely free. The processing time is 2 days. So when the tenant makes a payment, 2 days later, you will be receiving that payment. So it's really quick. We're looking to optimize and actually offer kind of a faster payment method as well. There is a small fee if your tenant is making a payment with a credit card or debit card. That fee is actually charged to the tenant. It's a 3% convenience fee.
Well, that's great, because you're giving them the options. Hey, if you pay with ACH, there's no fee, and then they can't complain. That's really good. So the landlord banking, we just covered that. The bookkeeping. So at the end of the year, everything's going to be pretty much dialed in, and you can export the files out and give them right to your CPA. And you also have an integration or some kind of joint venture with like an accounting firm as well, or a tax preparer?
We haven't built up that yet. Our goal really is to really reduce the amount of time that accountant even has to spend, filing for your taxes, right? We're going to be able to automate so many things that by the end of the year, you're going to go, download our tax package that will be already kind of formatted in a very clear, income statement, but also kind of in a Schedule E statement. We'll be able to actually attach all of your receipts and transactions to that as well. And really, it shouldn't take an accountant more than a couple hours or even less to just review that and then kind of file your taxes, even to the point that you may start to be comfortable, doing it yourself. In the future, we will have kind of direct relationships with accountants that have experience, with our tool, and at the same time, connectivity into kind of self-serve tools for taxes as well.
Yeah, I know, like, many people out there that have, 2 or 3 rentals, and they're kind of like, wow, this is becoming a job. But really the key is automation, and that's the problem you're solving. Before we went live too, we were talking about the kind of next generation of real estate investors. There's a lot of 20 and 30-year-olds now that don't really have a lot of experience in bookkeeping and so forth, because they're really just graduated school and they're getting in, instead of maybe going the corporate route, they're getting into real estate investing. And so the big thing as you grow your business that I've found personally is that once you start having 5, 6, 7 LLCs, it becomes kind of a pain. So you really want to get these tools in place. And that's what I'm working on right now, is like, how do I automate everything? How do I, benchmark? How do I look and see what properties are performing? And then also you have a relationship with a lending company, so people can check rates and see if there's some options with your platform there. I'm sure that'll grow too into offering commercial financing and different things in the future. Where do you see your organization going to next? Like right now, you're you're really working on the platform. And I mean, this can go in so many directions, and I think it could be a monster. And there's really no fees for me, a landlord, to come on the platform and use it for rent collection or anything. Is that accurate?
That's correct. Our core platform is free. So, banking, bookkeeping, analytics, and rent collection are free. We will be offering a series of premium features coming later this year that will come at a small cost. But obviously, those are very value add features that I think most landlords are willing to pay for and would actually save them a lot of time. But kind of diving into the bookkeeping piece a little bit, you're very spot on. There's a lot of new landlords coming into the market these days, many younger landlords, and we really want to build a platform that really enables them to kind of learn how to be a really effective landlord and also kind of support them as they, want to grow their portfolio. You're very spot on. As you kind of have, 5-6 properties, this, the amount of work can get, pretty extreme. We still see a lot of investors have, jobs, full-time jobs, and this is something they're doing on the side. Many folks are kind of managing those on the weekend. So being able to kind of reduce that time spent managing your finances is very, very critical. Some of the interesting features that we're launching soon is, being able to bulk edit all of your transactions. So imagine you have a utility that's charged, every single month, and maybe it's charged every single month for 3 properties. So all of a sudden you have 3 transactions that come in every single month. We want to be able to automate that and actually bulk edit that. So you can actually see all the transactions that have come in for that merchant. Let's go ahead and categorize all of them in one go. And then in the future, that already gets automated. And so a lot of that is just putting that on auto drive and then letting you focus on the things that are important. And I think that's what we're thinking about next. How can we be a proactive financial engine versus one that's requiring your input? And so being able to say, hey, we've actually seen that, there is utility that's been going up, right? What's going on there? Being able to highlight, any increase that's above a certain threshold that you've set, and letting you be aware of that. Hey, utility for this duplex has gone up by 50% in the last 2 months. Like let's double click and see what's going on there, or even start to benchmark you against other like landlords. Imagine you have your property in Arizona, and I want to kind of go and benchmark myself against other like landlords that own single family homes across kind of the Sun Belt. What do expense ratios look like for those lands? How do I stack up with them, right? I think many times, most of our customers have an idea of how they're performing, but it's not very data driven. They're speaking to folks across their community, whether it's online or in the physical world, and just getting a sense check of how they're performing. But why not have actual data to really improve the way that you're managing this property?
Yeah, I think benchmarking is so important. Most people don't even realize what other people are paying for. I mean, you just look at like insurance, for example. If you're not benchmarking your insurance, you could be paying a couple $1,000 extra a year. So it'd be great to have a tool where you can benchmark and you can see, and even eventually you'll probably have analytics where you can see what other type of properties are renting for similar on the platform. So everything will be just really data driven. And that's what's amazing about technology, is that in the olden days we weren't able to just go on and like pull comps and do all this stuff and look at rent values and so forth. And this is where the future. There's no question that if you want to be an investor and save money and really look at everything, you're going to have a tool like this. And what's great about it is you can get on the platform for free and use it, and you're going to either love it or you're not, right? And so and then eventually you'll have some premium things where you can even get deeper analytics as you need to get more efficiencies within your business. Because at the end of the day, I think people just think I'm going to buy property, but they don't really think you got to run it as a business. You have to take it serious, and you need the tools to do that. And that's kind of how'd you come up with the idea? Was it just how'd you formulate this company?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's actually speaking to our customers. So, my co-founder and I, we used to work at a company called the Baselane Consulting Group. We helped some of the largest financial service companies in the US, build new digital products. And we were working with kind of one of the largest financial service companies in the US. We were helping them build out a new small and medium-sized business product. And, as we started speaking to a lot of the customers, a lot of them were actually investors of real estate. And, it was quite clear that it was very difficult to solve the financial pain points that this individual customer type had without being very focused on them and actually building out software and financial technology dedicated to them versus building kind of a broad-based banking approach. Like if you go to and look at kind of, what a national bank offers. Like their product is similar across all product types, whether it's a, consumer product or a business product or a kind of a high net worth product. It's all the same. It's just a different person on the phone behind it, right? And so we really want to solve this problem through technology. My co-founder and I are both landlords. So we've seen this problem, ourselves, having to manage, our properties through a Chase bank account and collect rent through check or through cash or through Venmo or Zelle. Having to have it always be kind of consolidating, making sure that came in, sending messages to that landlord, to that tenant through email or text message to kind of remind them, having to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars at end of year to do taxes. Right? It's time for change, and we really wanted to kind of be at the forefront of that.
You're listening to the Investor Financing Podcast. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello, Beau here, host of the Investor Financing Podcast. Are you a lender, real estate professional, or vendor that provides products or services within the real estate investing and business owner space? We are offering a few sponsorship opportunities to get in front of a highly targeted audience. If you're interested, please click the link below for further information. We look forward to talking with you. Thanks. Make it a great day. What if somebody has like a property manager, they're doing some of this, they're doing the collections and stuff. It's still, It's still probably good to have this sit on the systems. You're still going to be benchmarking analytics. Will you be able to upload like your property management statements? I mean, is there value there if you already have a third-party property manager?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I think beyond just property managers, also kind of the short-term renters, right? If you're using VRBO, if you're using Airbnb, all of those products are very much helping you go and find a tenant, right? And in many cases now, property managers obviously helping you also with the physical maintenance. But of course, as you mentioned, you still need to, do taxes yourself. You still want to assess how your property is performing, right? And all the analytics that go around that. You still need to own kind of insurance. You still need to own your own banking relationship. And so the way we actually see things is quite different, right? Instead of having to receive a statement from that property manager, imagine that property manager is fully integrated into our platform. And so in the future, you're going to be able to go onto Baselane, and Baselane becomes a collaboration tool with you and your property manager. And so no longer do you have to receive a PDF or an Excel statement that you have to manually input somewhere. But imagine this being a tool where you can actually open up your phone, see, oh, wow, rent was collected. This is how much was charged for specific maintenance, right? All of that is something that exists on many platforms. And so we're talking to a bunch of property managers, some regional, some national, that want to become great partners with us and actually use our tool as a collaboration tool. But until that happens, yes, you can definitely keep on using our platform. We're going to try to do our best to kind of help folks that are receiving those statements from property managers and helping them integrate them into our platform.
Yeah, no, you're dead on, because I get I have a portfolio in Indiana, and it's like I get this PDF statement, and it's really hard to read, and it's like the only thing I could do is give it to, but it does. I mean, that's a huge problem to solve too, because that's, like it's kind of a worthless statement to me. It's very confusing. Right. And then like, what's here's the maintenance cost, but there's no way to benchmark at the end of the year unless I manually input this into a spreadsheet, which is time consuming, right? So that does solve a huge problem right there.
I think every investor, every landlord, they want to be able to have a quick picture of what their net operating income is at any point in time. Right? End of month, every day, open up your phone and say, this is how much money I brought in this month. This is a tenant that hasn't paid, and we've already sent them a message to kind of collect from them, right? You want to be able to have that snapshot very quickly. And then at the same time, hey, there's been 4 or 5 transactions that, are expenses for this property. They've all been categorized, and I can actually see a snapshot of what my income statement looks like, right? And so all of that should be things that should be on the palm of your hand, very readily available, right? This is one of the largest financial assets that you probably own. Why does it have to be very analog? Why can't it be very digital in the way that you would manage any other asset, right? That has kind of a digital ledger that's kind of live and up to date.
Yeah, a lot of us, I interview a lot of people, and we always talk about the financial independence number, or some of us call it being 100%er, which really is our goal, is to get, net reoccurring revenue to take out what we're making as a W-2 employee, right? Like all these people I talk to on a daily basis that call me, they're like, hey, I'm trying to create some passive income and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I always tell them, okay, well, what's your monthly outgo? What are you spending? And what do you have in passive income right now? And your first step is to build where, let's just say your W-2, you make $10,000 a month, where you can build it where you're getting $10,000 a month net passive income. And now we call that being 100%er, right? And then you can potentially quit your W-2 job and become eventually become a 200%er, and then where you have enough cash flow coming in. I think there's so many of the 20, 30-year-olds out there, like they're listening to Bigger Pockets. That's their goal, right? They're like, I don't want to work the next 50 years for the same company and, hope that I get a retirement. And so that's why and we realize right now obviously we have a lot of inflation going on, but we have a lack of inventory out there. So real estate, will weather the storm, and historically is going to weather the storm, even with dips in the market. I mean, I think it's the tried and true investment that you can make, that if you do it and hold on long term and keep it, you're going to become wealthy over time. And so that's why I love real estate. And what your tool does is really, really cool. I think it's needed. A guy like me I don't like to spend time in spreadsheets. I like to keep things simple. When it's simple, I can do it. And that's what I like the best about your company. And it's actually, I'm going to I just bought a fourplex and I bought a duplex. So I'll go ahead and I'll put the fourplex on right now because I need to start actually collecting rent. They just mailed me the checks for the first month, and I told them I'm going to set them up with an automation. And you solved my problem right here. So I was glad that I got to interview you too, because you just it's perfect timing for that. And where can people find out more information? You want to go to your website? What's the best way to kind of get introduced to your company?
Yeah, signing up is extremely easy. It takes 20 seconds to create an account. You can go to kind of baselane.com. It's free to sign up. That's baselane.com. Very clear kind of button to kind of sign up for an account. Once you're there, you can actually take a series of actions, whether you want to open a bank account with us as a starting step, or you actually just want to start collecting rent, or you want to connect in a bank account to actually start kind of doing bookkeeping. There's many paths that you can take. But we're obviously here to help. There's a button where you can actually schedule a live demo, chat with our customer support if you need help kind of setting up your properties. We're very much kind of helping folks start using our platform, and we've had fantastic success with thousands of landlords using our product today. It's a product that was launched 6 months ago, and there's going to be a lot of really interesting products that are launching kind of throughout the year. So stay tuned to all the things that are happening.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's and I think you've gotten a big round of investments from some big players out there. So obviously you have some strong backing, and which will continue, I'm sure, as you grow your platform. So your platform is just going to continue to grow. And so where's the next 12 or 24 months look for you? What are you going to be building out? What are you most excited about over the next year to 2 years?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, yeah, very much fun. We've been lucky to have fantastic investors, both on the financial technology side, but also large real estate investors that have been investors for 50 plus years. So understand this problem firsthand. With that capital, we're building a lot of really interesting product. I think at our core, the banking, bookkeeping, analytics, and rent collection side, we're going to keep on building sophistication with that. We see landlords that have a couple doors, and many times they're looking just to right now they have their finances commingled with their personal account. They're not even deducting expenses correctly. Like, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that we can help someone that is just getting started really organize the way they're managing their finances. Someone that's been doing this for 10, 15 years requires a lot more sophistication. And so there's a lot of things that we're building out for that community of much more experienced landlords, helping them have much more details across kind of specific metrics that they track, being able to see things at a portfolio view or a specific unit view, a lot of better analytics fine-tuned to that. And then I think our marketplace is our big next step. The way we see our marketplace is very much a proactive health rate monitor. You tell us how much you're paying for a premium today for your liability insurance or your property, and we're going to go out there and work hard to find something that's actually a lower cost. And so when we find it, we'll reach out. We'll say, hey, we found a great product that works for you, versus just getting all these cold emails, cold calls of offers that aren't really potentially saving you money. And so that's the way we think about our marketplace. How can we be a tool that is actually saving you money versus just offering you things that may be useless, that maybe you're already kind of optimizing that space. And so there's a lot of stuff around lending, about insurance, closing, titles, all that stuff that we can do to really seamlessly kind of help the buying process and also kind of the everyday life that you have as a landlord.
Well, thank you so much for your time. This was really, truly amazing. And I'm excited for the future because I know there's some light at the end of the tunnel for me for putting my properties on a platform like this and making my life a lot easier, probably saving a bunch in taxes because I'm actually identifying more costs than I forgot about. And that's a big key too, right? To find all that low hanging fruit that we're not writing off that we could be. So it's going to be there for you on the platform. So thank you for your time so much, guys. Please, if you're interested, you can just go to baselane.com and you can sign up for free and you can play around and set up a demo if you want. So, it seems like a truly good value to me. So thanks for your time so much. This was amazing.
Oh, no, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.